Well, hi there. Donald Trump expected to announce his running mate this week, and he's reportedly vetting Christie. Indiana Governor Mike Pence and Newt Gingrich, also retired Lieutenant General and registered Democrat Michael Flynn, has also surfaced as a likely candidate on Trump's short list. But will Trump throw a curveball with a Democrat or go with a total establishment politician? Let's ask Tim Carney. He's a senior political columnist for the Washington Examiner. It's time for Carney asada. I just made that up, Tim.
It's a good Mexican reference. Carne asada and a taco bowl. I'm sure you can work that in with a Trump VP
Believe me,
story.
I will for my late dinner coming up in about a half hour. So I want to talk to you about Lieutenant General Flynn. Is this Flynn flop fatal?
Well, so Flynn is very fitting for Trump in that he's saying sort of the exact opposite things about his views from one day to another, saying that, a woman has to be able to choose, and I'm a pro-life Democrat. So a Republican running mate calling himself pro-choice and pro-life at the same time. And so you wonder, what does Trump see in him? And in my mind, it plays to the idea that Trump is an authoritarian, and that's his only ideology. He doesn't have attachment to party, to conservative ideas, but to sort of a big government general. When he admires these strong men in other countries and then wants to put a general who doesn't really have conservative domestic views as his running mate, that plays into that charge.
And a lot of people say, well, Lieutenant General Flynn is very good on national security and foreign policy. He's great when he can expand about ISIS. I think Republicans, particularly men, do themselves a great disservice when they start just sort of impromptu freewheeling on abortion.
Well, it's certainly a serious, grave issue that one ought to think about before one speaks on it. And the idea that he could say opposite things 12 hours apart, just like Donald Trump does, is a sign that he's speaking on this serious issue without having thought of it. And you're suggesting maybe that sounds like mansplaining, but mansplaining is kind of my job, so I won't go down that route.
I was not suggesting mansplaining. I just think it violates the principle of non-contradiction, that you can both be and not be in the same instance at the same time, and he can't be both. Let's talk about Christie a little bit. I have been very hesitant about Christie being a potential VP until I thought of Christie as an attorney general. And we see what someone with a legal authoritarian streak can do and how much harm they can cause to the country, i.e. Eric Holder. And I think Christie could actually be far worse on issues like civil liberties.
Well, he certainly, during the debates, tried to distinguish himself from Rand Paul, who has a strong libertarian streak, and Christie attacked and belittled and really showed disdain for those ideas rather than simply arguing against them. So that's the reason to worry about him. You could see a debate going, a Rubio or a Cruz possibly debating against a civil libertarian, but Christie really hates those ideas. He thinks that they're dangerous, and he thinks that they're stupid. And so if your plot to keep Christie out of being the top law enforcement official in the country is to put him in a meaningless job in a theoretical Trump White House, I think that's a pretty safe bet if you are a civil libertarian like you and I are.
Exactly. Let's talk a little bit. We're running out of time. We only got about a minute left. Indiana Governor Mike Pence, it's do or die time for him. He has to have a decision by Friday. So Donald Trump has to let him know whether or not he is a running mate. Some people see him as a front runner because he is a social conservative and a social warrior. Where do you see him?
Well, so Trump had said he wants to pick a politician, somebody who has the experience he doesn't have. And Pence does have a strong conservative record in a lot of ways, but he rubbed some conservatives the wrong way when he sort of caved to the big business demands on the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. And so, but I think that running for governor, where he's fairly safe to get reelected, he's got to decide, as you were saying, in the next couple days. And so that's it's a risky thing to go for Pence to do it, while it's sort of the safe, low-risk move for Trump to pick him. That sort of combination doesn't seem to make sense for both of them to go along with it. When you're this far down and you're Trump, to pick the most normal guy on your list doesn't make sense. It's trying to get layups when you're down by 18 points.
All right, Tim, I know you've been hot on the grill, but last question. We've only got about 5 seconds. Newt or not?
Newt is the best pick Trump can make, and will it happen? I think less likely than not, but it wouldn't shock me.
All right, it wouldn't shock me either. I still think that he is in the prime position right now, and he's got the secret weapon, which is Callista, and her secret weapon, which is her French horn. Tim Carney, thank you very much. I always appreciate your time. Very good.